Good evening, Beethoven, parents, staff, and friends. Thank you for joining me for this welcome message for today's Beethoven Elementary's virtual back to school night for the school year 2021-2022. I want to welcome all of our families, our new families that are joining this adventure with us during this time, our existing families, and of course, all of our staff, family, and friends. It is through our collective effort that we have such a great school that continues to be successful in meeting the academic and the social emotional needs of our students. I am the proud principal, Kara Fields. This is my 7th year at Beethoven Elementary. I really do love what I do, and I work in such a great environment with the most cooperative staff and the most caring families, and the children are absolutely wonderful. We have really enjoyed having them back at school. So refreshing to get back into our old routines. Thank you for trusting us with your children, and we're looking forward to a really great year. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we will continue to do the hard work to make sure that your child has a successful school year. Again, this is my 7th year at Beethoven, my 22nd year with LAUSD. I've done a little bit of everything in the district, but definitely being principal at Beethoven has been my most favorite, and it still is my most favorite job. So this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to go over the back to school night schedule, talk about our goals and our mission, introduce you to our staff and our support staff, talk about curriculum, how we're being safe around COVID, our positive behavior and social emotional learning focus. I'm going to discuss Title I, which is a very important aspect of our school, how you can be involved, fundraising, and events. So for our back to school night schedule, you're watching this video at this time, and it'll be about 15 minutes. Then you'll be able to transition to your child's classroom presentation. We have 2 presentations tonight because we know some families have more than one child. So teachers will present the same presentation twice, one at 6 o'clock and another at 6:30. So there's time in between to get questions answered, as well as transition to another Zoom link for multiple teachers that you might have. There's also a video showcasing some of our wonderful Beethoven staff called Meet Our Team. And I will also talk about our More Than a Meal campaign, which helps Beethoven continue its Title I status and bring in necessary funds and resources for the school. Our Beethoven School mission and goals. Those are really the foundation and the core of our school. Our mission is to inspire students to reach their highest potential in academic achievement and personal growth within an environment of cooperative learning, mutual respect, and cultural diversity. We really aim for this mission every year. We want them to work cooperatively together. We model that, of course, and we model that within the community, of course, working with our parents, our community partners, and our staff. We're really modeling for the kids what it means to be a good citizen and work cooperatively. We also talk a lot about respect. Ask your Beethoven bear to show you the sign for respect. That's one of our 4 B's. Respecting ourselves, respecting our family, respecting our adults on campus, respecting the environment. And cultural diversity. We work really hard to showcase everyone's culture, and especially those marginalized cultures at our school that are not high in numbers. We want to make sure that our students have just a wealth of knowledge of all cultures, all peoples, and they learn to respect them. So our goals in doing this is to have innovative techniques and programs, always looking to enhance what we already have at the school. We differentiate. That is also a very big part of the way that we teach our students at Beethoven, is finding out where's your Beethoven bear, where do we meet them, and how we can bring them higher than where they are. So we break apart our lessons and we group our students so they get designated learning that's differentiated. We do a lot of character and community building. We want your children to be happy. We want them to learn well. And first we have to take care of their social emotional. We want to make sure that they get along with each other and that we're really developing citizens for the world. Exposure to many disciplines, art, drama, dance, technology. We want to expose them because so many of our Beethoven Bears have talents in these areas. And so we love that we have the opportunities at our school to have visual arts and drama and dance and orchestra and computer lab. We promote diversity and diverse ways of thinking. As mentioned, for those cultures that are not high in numbers at our campus, we work really hard to expose our students to their culture and things that are meaningful to them. And so when they go out in the world and they see these people and these cultures, they'll be familiar with what we taught them at Beethoven. We want to include all of our stakeholders. You're an important partner in this. We need you, and we want to work closely beside you to help your student be the best academically and socially. And of course, that's through collaboration. So please work with us. Let us know what's working well for you. Ask us questions. Let us know what's not working well. We are here to work alongside you to make this school and the students just have a great year. Here are our Beethoven staff. We have our administration, that is myself and Miss Lalachi, and we have a new assistant principal, Miss Bravo. Mr. Ponce has moved on, and so Miss Bravo will be taking care of all of our families that have students with IEPs, as well as supporting our entire school community. We have our wonderful PAL teachers. We have Miss Ramos and Miss Brown. Our TK and kindergarten group, Mrs. Mancia, Ms. Ramirez, and Mr. Dolphin. Our first grade group, Ms. Riorta Lotto, Miss Alanis, Mr. O'Donnell. Our second grade group, Mrs. Ramos, Mrs. Galvan, and Miss Riortiato. Miss Riortiato does have a 1-2 combination class. Our third grade team, Miss Andrews and Miss Gelman. Our fourth grade team, Miss Corencio, Miss Evans. Our fifth grade team, Mrs. Harada, Miss Zulo. We have a wealth of special education staff members, but we do have Miss Solandra and Miss Presti here that you can see, and a host of assistants, Miss Wendy, Miss Erica, Mr. Herman, Miss Mari, Miss Behar. We have two Lisas, Miss Nina and Miss Andrade, Miss Ellie, Mr. Lewin, Miss Webster, Miss Paredes, and Miss Kim Rodriguez. And so this is just a portion of our wonderful staff at Beethoven. There's many more support staff, especially in special education, our office staff, our plant staff, our cafeteria staff. Again, we come together because our main goal is to support your children. And that's one of the aspects of Beethoven that I love. We are here with one purpose, which is to be there for the children at Beethoven. Our curriculum and pedagogy. So what are we teaching? How are we teaching it? In language arts, we have a program called Benchmark Advance, and we also use units of study, which is our readers and writers workshop. In math, we use a multitude of different programs and pedagogical approaches. We have our Eureka Math program, and we still do use some of My Math. We also implement CGI math pedagogy, and that is supported by our UCLA Mathematics project. Social science, we use our impact program and a wealth of hands-on materials and realia. In science, we have Amplify Science. We still use some FOSS, and again, lots of hands-on learning in science. For social emotional, we do have a program called Second Step, but we implement yoga and just tons of other ways to meet the needs of our students socially, emotionally. But our core curriculum that we do have in every class is Second Step. There are many online programs that we use, and those will be tailored depending on the teacher and what they need, but some might include ST Math, iExcel, Amplify Reading. And for our special education students and our gifted and talented students, we implement different strategies to meet their needs. We have a learning center for our special education students. We have one-on-one, we have pull out and push in. For our gifted students, we do have our core areas for our School for Advanced Studies that we dig into in every classroom. So we're making sure that we reach our students that are high achievers at grade level and that need an extra scoop of learning. Our programs and partnerships that also help to enhance our education program here at Beethoven. We are a Coatson Foundation alumni school, but we still stay connected with Coatson, take advantage of opportunities, and just still utilize the learning that we went through as a school when we were coats in school. We have partnerships with several colleges. UCLA, we have our Bruin Corps that are here at our school, and those are students that come in and help to give one-on-one support in the classroom. And we are a UCLA cohort school. So we have many families here from UCLA tie-in. So welcome to our UCLA tie-in families. We are also partnering with LMU this year. We have 5 student teachers here from LMU. And again, that's extra support in the classroom while they get to learn to be great teachers under the mentorship of our current staff. As mentioned, we partner with UCLA for our CGI math pedagogy. PS Arts provides music, thanks to our friends at Beethoven. We have our 9 Dots coding program that we're about 9 years strong. We are a school for advanced studies. We partner with Cedars-Sinai for our art therapy sharing care program with Ms. Nicole Imhoff. And we still have our partnership with Young Storytellers around theater and writing plays. For this year, many parents are wondering, how are we going to meet the needs of our students? So I thought about the conversations I've already had with our staff, and we're going to look at instructional goals in a way of looking at recovering with 3 R's: restoring, rebuilding, and responding. We're going to be restoring the learning for our students. We're going to be reviewing concepts, and as I keep saying, differentiating. And so where are our students and where do we need to support them based on where they're at? And that's through a lot of data, assessing, and really finding out where your students are. Once we know that, then we can rebuild. We're building and we're rebuilding. We're finding what works, we're making it better, and we're using data to inform that build, that rebuild. And then we're responding to students' needs, to the supports that they require to become better and improve based on that data. And then we're heavily monitoring the growth. And so we're not slowing down. We're not going to do remediation for the entire year. We do have a job to do in terms of making sure your student is exposed and hopefully masters the standards of learning that they need for this school year. We do still need to keep on that path while restoring, rebuilding, and responding. We did well last year, considering we were in the pandemic for over 18 months, but we know that there's holes in certain places. And so we're going to be filling in those holes while we're still staying on track and keeping our bears ready for the next school year. These are some ways that we are staying safe at school that I shared already, but I just wanted to reiterate these. I shared these at our Welcome Back to School Town Hall. We are continuing to wear a face mask. It is required of everyone on campus. The only time that you don't wear it is while you're eating, and at that time we're socially distancing. Our bears are doing really great wearing their masks. Only a few times might you remind them to wear it properly over their nose. But our bears are really good about wearing their masks. Physical distancing whenever possible. So especially when their masks are off while we're eating, we've limited the number of students sitting at a table. Daily health checks. So thank you to parents for doing your daily pass. I know sometimes it is a chore, but that ensures that students and staff that are doing the daily pass are checking in with their health and making sure that they are fit to be on campus and do not display symptoms. Lastly is our COVID testing, our weekly COVID testing, which has changed a bit, but mostly it has been on Fridays. That testing is for all of our students and staff every single week. And I'm just continue to be proud to say that we have no positive cases of COVID at Beethoven. And again, that was that is a collective effort of families and staff to keep our students safe. So here are some pictures of students that are in line to get their COVID testing on a sunny Friday morning. And down below, you can see a student working with one of our COVID specialists that's tickling her nose to get her sample for her COVID test. I want to share that we are doing some additional safety shifts. Just last week, I met with staff over the last couple of weeks to discuss how are things going and what could we improve to ensure that we remain safe and ensure that we keep or don't have any COVID cases at our site. We do have a COVID task force team, and so we were able to talk about these ideas, and then I brought them back to our teachers and our support staff. So safety obviously is our priority, especially now during COVID. Again, we've had no COVID cases, and we want to keep it that way. So we're going to limit the use of spaces used by several classes. For example, if we have library, we have students that are all coming to library at different times during the week. So we have different classes coming. Instead of classes coming to the same space, which would mean that we would have to do frequent cleaning, which was almost impossible if you have classes coming and going, we're going to take library outside to the library garden. So we're going to utilize that open air and not have students in a closed space rotating in the same space. So we're going to be using our library garden for library instead of the actual library. For visual arts, we are going to take the students outside into our new learning garden, and the visual arts teacher, Miss Lisa, will go to their classrooms instead of the students coming to her room and rotating in the same room. For computer lab, the same. We have a wonderful computer lab, but again, to optimize the ultimate safety for our students, our technology specialist, Mr. Swarns, he will travel to classrooms rather than having the classrooms travel to the same space in the computer lab. We're going to continue our vigorous hand washing and sanitizing. We do this all day, but especially before and after recess and lunch. Now let's talk about social emotional. And I talked about this last year. I've mentioned this quite a bit, and it's very appropriate for the time that we are living in. Maslow before Bloom's. Maslow talks about the hierarchy of needs. So that's the foundation. If you can look at the bottom, food, water, breathing, security, employment, resources, family, love, self-esteem. Those are the building blocks that everyone needs. Those are our hierarchy and needs in terms of just what we need to be a person that is feeling good about themselves. On top of that is Bloom's. So the idea is that we want to make sure that we are taking care of every child's hierarchy of needs in the right order. We don't want to forget about the basic needs that every student must have. And a lot of that is around social emotional needs. Before we begin filling their cup with a lot of academics and content. So the idea is Maslow before Bloom's, context before content, and we have to Maslow before they bloom. Now, the Bloom's taxonomy starts with knowledge, but this is actually the old Bloom's. There's a new Bloom. So the bottom is actually remember, then understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and the highest form of learning is creating. So what you see on the triangle is the old Bloom's, but to the right, you can see the new order of Bloom's. So again, the general concept is we want to make sure that social emotional needs are taken care of first before we begin to really dig deep into those academics. And that doesn't mean that we're going to spend months on just touchy-feely stuff, but we are going to infuse that into our learning every day. We are going to touch base with our students. We are going to perform circle with our students. We are going to ask, how are you feeling this morning? We are going to give them time to express themselves, to learn how to deal with their emotions, to make sure that they have the type of supports around them to feel good about themselves. And then we're going to dig deep into learning. But we're always going to go back to those social emotional needs because we know without that foundation, there's really nothing we can kind of stand on when it comes to the academic rigor that we want to put in place. So how can you help your child at home? Of course, set a positive tone. Try to start off every morning and evening positive. Make sure that your child gets a good night's rest. Please look that up. How many hours of sleep does my child need at this age? You would be surprised. They need lots of sleep. Limit their screen time. Now that children are back in school and they don't have to be on the computers all the time, now we can go back to doing some limiting of screen time, especially not before you go to bed. Enjoy learning together. Enjoy taking those walks. Enjoy reading to and with your child. Talk to your child. Ask them questions about their day. Even if sometimes they don't want to tell you much, you'd be surprised. Change up your questions. Spend time outdoors. Of course, in LA, that's not hard to do. Praise their effort and encourage risk taking. That is a big one. We want our students to have a mindset of risk taking, and that it's okay to try and it's okay to not do well and try again. And of course, seek connection over correction. Sometimes we want to correct first, but let's make sure we have strong connections before we go to correcting them. So those are just some tips for our families, and many of these as staff members, we also utilize here at school. Title I school. I mentioned that I wanted to talk a little bit more about that because more than a meal, what? So what? Why more than a meal? And just as it says, it's more than a meal. So it's not about your student eating at the school. The meals are already free. Your child can eat breakfast and lunch and supper for free every day. But it's really about federal funding based on the needs of our families at the school. I mentioned that we get an additional $100,000 a year. And we also get tons and tons of resources as the designated Title I school. So what do you need to do, families? Please do the more than a meal application. We will also send home a parent compact and engagement as part of a Title I school. We're required to do so. We have parent involvement, so please join our school site council so that you can help make decisions about how we spend that $100,000, and help us monitor the use of our funds and our data as we create plans that are connected to those monies. So there's your QR code again. More than a meal application takes no more than 5 minutes. Where are we right now? Right now, we're at 35%, and our goal is 55%. So the website that you can go to if you don't want to do the QR code is myschoolapps.com. So we're at 35%. We need to reach 55% by the end of September. So I'm counting on all the families to make sure they go and do their more than a meal application. Thank you in advance. Parent involvement. As I mentioned, we have our school site council that governs our Title I funding, our data, how we're using our money, monitoring the growth of our students academically. We also have our English Language Advisory Council, and that supports all of our families and students that are English language learners, no matter if you speak Spanish or Korean or Russian. We monitor the learning of those students to make sure they're acquiring their English. We have our parent organization, our Friends of Beethoven, that fundraises for our school and puts on many wonderful community events. You can also support your room parent. Help champion your classroom by supporting your room parent through the parent organization. So when there's initiatives, please help support your room parent in those initiatives for your classroom. We also have parent-teacher conferences twice a year. So please make sure you attend those. They're held in November and in March. So what is next? Classroom presentations. I know you can't wait to sit down virtually with your child's teacher and find out so many more details about what's going on in the classroom. So I need you to go back to the Beethoven Back to School 2021 landing page. Click on your child's grade level to start. And once you get there, for example, if your child is in first grade, click on the name of your child's teacher, and that will be a direct link to their Zoom. You may already have their Zoom IDs and passwords. You're welcome to use that and connect right in. Or if you don't, you can go back to the landing page and find it there. I want to thank our Beethoven families again, our staff. If there's any Beethoven Bears out there, hello, Beethoven Bears. Thank you for joining me for this welcome message. I am again looking forward to a great year. We love having the students and the staff back on campus. We're going to continue to be as safe as possible and have a rewarding year. Parents, don't forget to check out the Beethoven online backpack every once in a while so you can see updated information. It is how we're communicating with our families since we're not sending home materials all the time. When you have a chance, you can always go to the backpack, check out the new updates, and stay informed. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your teacher's classroom presentations. Good night.